This is from Nina West's drag queen children's album. She's a RuPaul's drag queen. This is called What Makes Us Shine. And I'm also getting set up on Facebook too. Hi, everyone. So it looks like we are up on Facebook. We're up on Instagram. Yes, so the song that is currently playing, I recommend the entire album. It's from Nina West, and it's her. She has a whole album about drag and about friendship, and it's really wonderful and really sweet. So yeah, hi everyone. My name is Jacob. I'm gonna pause this now. My name is Jacob. I use he/him pronouns, and I am with a very queer book blog. And I just thought I would come on and tell some stories that personally bring me some joy to help bring everyone a little bit of joy in this crazy time. I hope everyone is staying inside and staying safe and all that good stuff. If anyone is watching on Instagram, I will let you know that the feed is going to be backwards because Instagram is complicated. So if you go over to Facebook, the feed will be flipped and be correct. So it's a very queer book blog on Facebook. Great. So the very first book I would like to read for you is called Sparkle Boy by Leslie Newman. And so before we read this, there is one word that we're going to have to learn together. It's a Spanish word, and we have to. So I want you to say it together with me, okay? It's if you can say this after me, abuelita. If you can say that, can you say that? Abuelita, and that is Spanish for grandma. All right. So when we get to that word, I'll remind you, but that's in this book, okay? So this is Sparkle Boy by Leslie Newman. Jessie adored all things shimmery, glittery, and sparkly. Look at my shimmery skirt, Jessie said to her little brother Casey as she twirled in the living room and her skirt twirled around her. Casey looked up from his alphabet blocks. Ooh, shimmery, 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 he said, reaching out his hand. I want shimmery. Jessie stopped twirling, and her skirt stopped twirling with her. You can't have a shimmery skirt, Casey, she said. Why? Asked Casey. Because boys don't wear shimmery skirts, said Jessie. Right, Mama? Mama thought for a minute. If Casey wants to wear a skirt, Casey can wear a skirt. I don't have a problem with that. Mama went upstairs and came back with a skirt that was too small for Jessie. Here, buddy, she said to Casey, try this on. Ooh, shimmery, shimmery, Casey said, as he twirled around with his shimmery skirt twirled all around him. Casey twirled and twirled until he got dizzy and plopped down on his bottom. Casey laughed. Jessie frowned. The next afternoon, Jessie went to a birthday party. When she came home, she raced into the kitchen. Look at my glittery nails, Jessie said, fanning out her fingers. Her nails glittered in the light. Casey looked up from his animal puzzle. Ooh, glittery, glittery, he said, pulling Jessie's hands toward him. I want glittery. Jessie snatched her hands away. You can't have glittery nails, Casey. Why? Casey asked. Because boys don't wear glittery nail polish, said Jessie. Right, Daddy? Daddy thought for a minute. Most boys don't wear nail polish, he said, but Casey can if he wants to. There's no harm in that. Daddy went upstairs and came back with a bottle of glittery nail polish. Can't you make him paint his toenails, Jessie asked, and then make him put his socks on? That's not a bad idea, Daddy said to Casey. What do you say, pal? No, Casey shouted. He held out his hands and kept them perfectly still while Daddy painted his fingernails. Ooh, glittery, glittery, Casey said as he spread his fingers wide so his nails glittered in the light. Jessie shook her head. The next morning, Jessie and Casey's grandmother came to visit. Here you go. Remember the word we learned together? Abuelita. I like your sparkly bracelet, said Jessie. Can you say that again? Abuelita? And that's Spanish for grandmother, remember. Abuelita, I like your sparkly bracelet, said Jessie. You can have one. I have plenty, Abuelita said. She took off her bracelet and slid it onto Jessie's wrist. Jessie swirled her arm back and forth and watched the bracelet sparkle. Casey looked up from his dump truck. Ooh, sparkly, sparkly, Casey said. I want sparkly. Jessie hid her arm behind her back. You can't have a sparkly bracelet, Casey, she said. Why, Casey asked. Because boys don't wear sparkly bracelets, said Jessie. Right, Abuelita? Abuelita thought for a minute. I've never seen a boy wear a sparkly bracelet, she said. Uh-oh. Do you think she's gonna give Casey a bracelet? Until now, Abuelita turned to Casey. Here, Sparkle Boy, she said. She took off another bracelet and slid it onto Casey's arm. There's no reason why Casey can't wear a bracelet, Jessie. He isn't hurting anyone. Ooh, sparkly, sparkly, Casey said as he swiveled his arm back and forth and watched his bracelet sparkle. Jessie stomped her foot and ran inside. On Saturday, Daddy went to the grocery store, and Mom took Jessie and Casey to the library. Jessie came downstairs wearing her shimmery skirt, sparkly bracelet, and her nails glittered in the light. Soon, Mama came downstairs with Casey. He wore his shimmery skirt, his sparkly bracelet, and his nails glittered in the light, too. Mama, Jessie cried as she thrust her fists onto her hips. Why is Casey dressed like that? Because that's how Casey wants to dress, Mama said. But that's not how boys are supposed to dress, said Jessie. Casey looks silly. I don't think Casey looks silly, Mama said. I think Casey looks like Casey. When Jessie, Casey, and Mama got to the library, story time had already begun. They sat in the back to listen, and after the librarian finished reading, Mama went to the front to check out some books. Jessie and Casey waited for her in the children's room. I like your skirt, said a girl to Jessie, and I like your sister's skirt. Jessie didn't say anything. I'm not a sister, Casey said. I'm a brother. You can't be a brother, said the girl. Why? Asked Casey. Because you're a girl, she answered. I'm a boy, said Casey. You are? An older boy said. He stared at Casey and then laughed. Hey, look, he called his friend. A boy in a skirt. The boy's friend laughed too. Then he knelt in front of Casey. Dude, you said, you can't go around wearing a skirt. Why? Asked Casey. Because boys don't wear skirts and bracelets and nail polish. Everybody knows that, said the boy. Right? He asked, turning to Jessie. Uh-oh. Jessie looked at Casey. His face was scrunching up like it always did right before he started to cry. Why can't boys wear skirts and bracelets and nail polish, Jessie said. Because, said one of the boys. It's just the way that it is, said the other. Not anymore, said Jessie as she put her arm around Casey's shoulder. Come on, little guy. Let's find Mama and go home. Jessie and Casey adored all things shimmery, glittery, and sparkly. Especially each other. And that is Sparkle Boy by Leslie and Newman. Thank you guys for joining me for that. Aren't you glad his sister finally stood up for him by the end? Because those bullies were kind of mean, don't you think? I think so too. Anyway, so that is Sparkle Boy. The next book I want to read to you is called Peanut Goes for the Gold, and it is by Jonathan Van Ness. And if your grown-up is with you right now, they might recognize Jonathan from a TV show on Netflix. So this is very exciting. This is called Peanut Goes for the Gold. Peanut has their own way of doing things. Peanut loves doing cartwheels while on the basketball court and having banana pancakes on their birthday instead of cake, and cutting their own hair as they hula hoop. Sometimes people think Peanut is weird, but more often friends wind up joining in the fun. When Peanut decides to do something, there's just no stopping them. I'm going to be a rhythmic gymnast. Look at that. They're telling their whole family they're going to be a rhythmic gymnast. And here's what my routine is going to look like. All right, look at that. Isn't that a good routine? They're going to do a bunch of flips. Dad, I need your help with my outfit. And Mom, I need you to help with my choreography. And Sammy, man, I need you to pick out my music and make it funky. Look at their family being super, super helpful. Peanut practiced their routine night and day. Peanut practiced at home. They practiced at school, and they practiced on the bus from home to school. And when the day for the big competition came, Peanut was pretty sure their routine was perfect. The music was all queued up, and Peanut danced and spun and tumbled and dove. Oh, look at Peanut. They're doing such a good job. They swung the hoop and tossed the ball and juggled the batons and twirled the ribbon. Peanut's performance was flawless. Almost. Uh-oh. What do you think is going to happen to Peanut? Peanut only forgot one thing. To tie their shoes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Poor Peanut. But instead of ruining the act, Peanut turned the stumble into a triple axe tumble. Oh, look at that. Peanut's super talented. Look at that. And they totally stuck the landing. Peanut knew it was a perfect routine. And the judges couldn't help but agree. Yep, Peanut has their own way of doing things, even if they're still learning how to tie their shoes. And that is Peanut Goes for the Gold by Jonathan Van Ness. Now, did anybody notice anything interesting about Peanut? Peanut was using they, them pronouns. And does anybody know what a pronoun is? Pronouns are basically what people use to identify themselves. So people use different pronouns depending on who they are. So Peanut was using they, them. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I use he, him pronouns. Some people use she, her, and there are other pronouns as well. But the most important thing is to make sure that you respect people's pronouns when they tell you what they are, because that's the most important thing. So that's Peanut Goes for the Gold by Jonathan Van Ness. Okay, and so the last book that I want to read for you today, and this is one of my favorites, it's called Prince and Knight by Daniel Hack. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far from here, lived a charming prince who was handsome and sincere. His parents knew that soon it would be time he took the throne. But with a kingdom so grand, the prince could not rule alone. So the three of them set out and traveled far and wide on a quest to find the prince a kind and worthy bride. The prince met many ladies, and he made them all swoon, but it was soon clear that he was singing a different tune. Thank you, he told his parents. I appreciate that you tried, but I'm looking for something different in a partner by my side. But while the royals were away, their land faced quite a scare from a dragon fast approaching, breathing fire everywhere. All the villagers ran in fear. Even the soldiers hid and fled. This vicious beast is far too great. We must retreat or we'll be dead. Uh-oh, look at the scary dragon. The prince heard the dreadful news and he raced home with all his might. To protect his precious realm, the prince was ready for a fight. Alas, before you fear our prince had to face the beast alone, along on horseback came a knight, cloaked in armor that brightly shone. The dragon charged upon our heroes, thinking it already had won, but the knight had a bold idea, and he raised his shield to face the sun. The glare hit the shining metal, blinding the dragon's eyes. But what was the prince did next is what really caught the knight by surprise. The prince had climbed atop the dragon and tied a rope around its head. He wrapped the cord around his neck and down the body like a thread. The plan had worked. The dragon was caught. Its body was tied and bound, but the prince high up had lost his grip and was falling to the ground. Uh-oh, the prince is falling. Do we think he's going to get saved? I hope so. The knight below jumped onto his horse and he began to race. The prince was caught and free from harm, held in the knight's embrace. Look at that, the knight saved him. You saved my life, and you saved mine, they said to one another. And in a flash, it felt there was simply no other. The knight took off his helmet to reveal his handsome face, and as they gazed into each other's eyes, their hearts began to race. Look at that. As the villagers returned, it became quite clear to those around that the prince's true love had at last surely been found. The king and queen had come back too and were overwhelmed with joy. We finally found someone who was perfect for our boy. And on the two men's wedding day, the air filled with cheer and laughter, for a prince and his shining knight would live happily ever after. Oh, look at that. They lived happily ever after. The end. That is Prince and Knight by Daniel Hack. And that was the last book I wanted to read for you guys today. So I hope you guys enjoyed a couple of those books. If you are interested and want me to tell some more, just leave me a comment. Let me know. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at A Very Queer Book Blog. And maybe I'll even involve Prince William the Corgi. Anyways, I hope everybody stays healthy and safe and inside. And you all have a great day. So I will talk to y'all later. Bye.